Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel, Tech Check. If you want to watch the world's most beautiful roads, link is available in the description. Please visit our channel for more best videos. Thanks. Number 5. Convair F-106. The Convair F-106 Delta DAR was the primary all-weather interceptor aircraft of the United States Air Force from the 1960s through to the 1980s. Designed as the so-called ultimate interceptor, it proved to be the last specialist interceptor in U.S. Air Force service to date. It was gradually retired during the 1980s, with the QF-106 drone conversions of the aircraft being used until 1998 under the Pacer 6 program. The F-106 was the ultimate development of the USA's 9054 interceptor program of the early 1950s. The initial winner of this competition had been the F-102 Delta Dagger, but early versions of this aircraft had demonstrated extremely poor performance, limited to subsonic speeds and relatively low altitudes. During the testing program, the F-102 underwent numerous changes to improve its performance, notably the application of the area rule to the fuselage shaping and a change of engine, and the dropping of the advanced MX-1179 fire control system and its replacement with a slightly upgraded version of the MX-1 already in use on subsonic designs. The resulting aircraft became the F-102A, and in spite of being considered barely suitable for its mission, the Air Force sent out a production contract in March 1954, with the first deliveries expected in the following year. By December 1951, the Air Force had already turned its attention to a further improved version, the F-102B. Initially, the main planned change was the replacement of the A model's Pratt & Whitney J57 with the more powerful Bristol Olympus, produced under license as the Wright J67. By the time this would be available, the MX-1179 was expected to be available, and was selected as well. The result would be the ultimate interceptor the Air Force wanted originally. However, while initial work on the Olympus appeared to go well, by August 1953 Wright was already a full year behind schedule in development. Continued development did not resolve problems with the engine, and in early 1955 the Air Force approved the switch to the Pratt & Whitney J75.
Like a bird on a tree.
Number 4. Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. The Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor is an American single-seat, twin-engine, all-weather stealth tactical fighter aircraft developed for the United States Air Force short, USAF. The result of the USAF's Advanced Tactical Fighter, called ATF, program, the aircraft was designed primarily as an air superiority fighter, but also has ground attack, electronic warfare, and signal intelligence capabilities. The prime contractor, Lockheed Martin, built most of the F-22's airframe and weapon systems and conducted final assembly, while Boeing provided the wings, aft fuselage, avionics integration, and training systems. The aircraft was variously designated F-22 and FA-22 before it formally entered service in December 2005 as the F-22A. Despite its protracted development and various operational issues, USAF considers the F-22 a critical component of its tactical air power. The fighter's combination of stealth, aerodynamic performance, and avionics systems enable unprecedented air combat capabilities. The USAF had originally planned to buy a total of 750 ATFs. In 2009, the program was cut to 187 operational aircraft due to high costs, a lack of clear air-to-air missions due to delays in Russian and Chinese fighter programs, a ban on exports, and development of the more versatile F-35. The last F-22 was delivered in 2012. The Next Generation Air Dominance Short, NGAD, fighter system is expected to be a successor to the F-22. In 1981, the U.S. Air Force identified a requirement for an advanced tactical fighter to replace the F-15 Eagle and F-16 Fighting Falcon. Codenamed Senior Sky, this air superiority fighter program was influenced by emerging worldwide threats, including new developments in Soviet air defense systems and the proliferation of the Su-27 Flanker and MiG-29 Fulcrum class of fighter aircraft. Number 3. Sukhoi Su. 35 Flankery. The Sukhoi Su 35, also called from the NATO's reporting name, Flankery. It is the designation for two improved derivatives of the Su-27 air defense fighter. They are single-seat, twin-engine, supermaneuverable aircraft, designed by the Sukhoi Design Bureau and built by the Komsomolsk-on-Amur aircraft plant. The type was originally developed by the Soviet Union from the Su-27 and was known as the Su-27. It incorporated canards and a multifunction radar, giving it multi-role capabilities. The first prototype made its maiden flight in June 1988. Following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Sukhoi redesignated it as the Su-35 to attract export orders. 14 aircraft were produced and used for tests and demonstrations. One example had thrust vectoring engines and was in turn redesignated the Su-37. A sole Su-35 UB-2C trainer was also built in the late 1990s that resembled the Su-30MK family. In 2003, Sukhoi embarked on a second modernization of the Su-27 to serve as an interim aircraft awaiting the development of the Sukhoi Pak-4 during the Su-57 program. Also known as the Su-35, this version has a redesigned cockpit and weapons control system and features thrust vectoring engines in place of the canards. The type made its first flight in February 2008. Although it was designed for export, the Russian Air Force became the launch customer in 2009, with a production version designated Su-35s. China's People's Liberation Army Air Force and the Indonesian Air Force have also placed orders. The first aircraft designed to receive the Su-35 designation had its origins in the early 1980s, at a time when the Su-27 was being introduced into service with the Soviet Armed Forces. The definitive production version of the Su-27, which had the factory code of T-10S, started mass serial production with the Komsomolsk-on-Amur Aircraft Production Association in 1983. The following year, this Su-27 version reached initial operational readiness with the Soviet Air Defense Forces. Number 2. McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. The McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II is a tandem two-seat, twin-engine, all-weather, long-range supersonic jet interceptor and fighter-bomber originally developed by McDonnell Aircraft for the United States Navy. Proving highly adaptable, it first entered service with the Navy in 1961 before it was adopted by the United States Marine Corps and the United States Air Force, and by the mid-1960s it had become a major part of their air arms. Phantom production ran from 1958 to 1981 with a total of 195 aircraft built, making it the most produced American supersonic military aircraft in history, and cementing its position as an iconic combat aircraft of the Cold War. The Phantom is a large fighter with a top speed of over Mach 2.2. It can carry more than 18,000 pounds or 8,400 kilograms of weapons on 9 external hardpoints, including air-to-air missiles, air-to-ground missiles, and various bombs. The F-4, like other interceptors of its time, was initially designed without an internal cannon. Later models incorporated an M61 Vulcan rotary cannon. Beginning in 1959, it set 15 world records for in-flight performance, including an absolute speed record and an absolute altitude record. The F-4 was used extensively during the Vietnam War. It served as the principal air superiority fighter for the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps and became important in the ground attack and aerial reconnaissance roles late in the war. During the Vietnam War, 1 U.S. Air Force pilot, 2 weapon systems officers, 1 U.S. Navy pilot and 1 radar intercept officer short, RIO, became aces by achieving 5 aerial kills against enemy fighter aircraft. The F-4 continued to form a major part of U.S. military air power throughout the 1970s and 1980s, being gradually replaced by more modern aircraft such as the F-15 Eagle and F-16 Fighting Falcon in the U.S. Air Force, the F-14 Tomcat in the U.S. Navy, and the F-A-18 Hornet in the U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps. Number 1. Dassault Mirage 2000. The Dassault Mirage 2000 is a French multi-role, single-engined, fourth-generation jet fighter manufactured by Dassault Aviation. It was designed in the late 1970s as a lightweight fighter to replace the Mirage 3 for the French Air Force. The Mirage 2000 evolved into a multi-role aircraft with several variants developed, with sales to several nations. It was later developed into the Mirage 2000N and 2000D strike variants, the improved Mirage 2005, and several export variants. Over 600 aircraft were built, and it has been in service with 9 nations. These origins of the Mirage 2000 could be traced back to 1965, when France and Britain agreed to develop the Anglo-French Variable Geometry Short, AFVG, swing-wing aircraft. 2 years later, France withdrew from the project on grounds of costs, after which Britain would collaborate with West Germany and Italy to ultimately produce the Panavia Tornado. Dassault instead focused on its own variable geometry aircraft, the Dassault Mirage G experimental prototype. The design was expected to materialize in the Mirage G8, which would serve as the replacement for the popular Mirage II in French Air Force service. The Mirage 2000 started out as a secondary project tentatively named Delta 1000 in 1972. Dassault was devoting considerable attention to the Mirage G8A, a fixed geometry derivative of the Mirage G8 that served as the competitor to the Panavia Tornado. The Mirage G8, which was envisioned as the ACF or future combat aircraft of the French Air Force, did not align with the service's conception of its future aircraft. The ATA wanted a Mach 3 fighter, not an interdictor aircraft incapable of dogfighting. That was the Mirage G8. As such, Dassault redesigned the Mirage G8 into the 2-engine Super Mirage G8A that would prove to be ambitious and expensive, being 2.5 times the price of the Mirage F1 and over-engineered, especially compared to the F-16 that had just won orders from several European countries. Consequently, during a meeting of the National Defense Council on 18 December 1975, the Super Mirage was cancelled. Before ending this video, please tell us in the comment what the topic of the next video should be. Please like and subscribe for more daily top 5 tech checks.